Evelyn always dreamed of a successful marriage. The unsuccessful attempt was already behind us. She had a son, John, who was 20 years old. Long ago, her husband was caught in an amazing act of treason. Evelyn returned home from a business trip a day early. She surprised her husband, who was half-dressed and carefully making the bed in their bedroom. Meanwhile, her best friend, Evelyn, was in the kitchen making coffee in her bathrobe. A classic scenario. Divorce followed immediately. The insidious friend was forever excluded from all Evelyn's contacts. She didn't care about the dirty details. The guilt was obvious. Punishment was due. She kicked her husband out along with his things and forbade her son to talk to him. At that time, Evelina was not yet 30. More than 10 years have passed since then. Evelina managed to defend first her candidate's degree and then her doctorate. By the age of 40, she became a doctor of philological sciences, heading the department at the university's pedagogical institute. She was respected as a professional. During all 10 years of loneliness, Evelyn never lost hope of finding a worthy life partner. She felt it was too early to knit socks and do cross-stitch. There was no shortage of suitors, but no one managed to reach the shore of her soul. One groom proposed immediately after the first date, borrowed money, we're almost family, and disappeared. Another was a widower looking for a mother for his children. He immediately invited her to his place, asking Evelyn to prepare dinner for his whole family. Evelyn was not ready for such a reception, but she prepared dinner and fed the children, 3 little ones, each smaller than the last. Returning home, Evelyn cried. She felt sorry for the children and their father, who himself seemed to be an orphan, but she could not bear the weight of his entire brood on her shoulders. I'm probably a selfish person, Evelyn justified herself. Every year, the choice becomes less and less. Just when she was about to give up her fruitless search and put an end to these fruitless stories, he appeared on the horizon. A former student, an Algerian named Wahid, who was 28 years old. One day, he was in Evelyn's class. He admired her as his professor. After graduation, he stayed in the city and started a small business. One day, Evelyn stopped at a gas station to fill up her car, and, to her surprise, it belonged to Wahid. They started talking, remembering their university days, laughing together. Just in case, Wahid handed Evelyn his business card. And from then on, Evelyn began visiting Wahid's gas station once a week, not only to refuel the car, but also to see him. Wahid showed signs of interest. He invited her to restaurants and to symphony music concerts. Evelyn was confused and doubted the sincerity of her former student. She declined all invitations, but Wahid persisted. Evelyn remembered him as a student who was distinguished by diligence in his studies. Wahid spoke Russian fluently and was an indescribably handsome Oriental man. All the girls in the faculty turned their heads as he passed by, sighing sadly after him. Evelyn recalls that when Wahid was still studying, he gave her a carved box. There was a note inside the box. After reading this, Evelyn's cheeks turned red with confusion, and then she turned pale with anger. Tearing Wahid's message into small pieces, she read the words, "Professor Evelyn, I love you." Evelyn immediately thought that this was some kind of mockery. She returned the box to Wahid's hands and ran away. The next day, Wahid knocked on Evelyn's office door. "Professor Evelyn, forgive me. I did not mean that. I admire you very much." Evelyn accepted his apology. "Okay, Wahid, go to class. The lecture is about to start." Until the end of his studies, Wahid kept his distance, only casting glances in her direction. And now Evelyn found herself in a similar predicament. Should she accept his attention or reject him? Now I'm nothing to him. We are just a man and a woman. Why not give him a chance, she thought. Finally, she surrendered to fate. A fleeting romance began. Their first date was unforgettable. Wahid surprised Evelyn with his tenderness, joy, and romantic gestures. She had never met such a fan before. Their age difference was not a barrier. Evelyn could be a playful girl, and Wahid could be a mature gentleman. Evelina affectionately renamed Wahid Vadim, and he did not object, but he began to call her Aliyah in his own way. Evelyn was in seventh heaven, feeling wanted for the first time in a long time. Once ignited, their love was unquenchable. Wahid did not propose to Evelyn. He planned to return to Algeria and could not go against the wishes of his family. His mother informed him that a suitable bride had already been chosen for him, a girl named Khadija, 17 years old, from a decent family. Moreover, Evelyn could not even imagine that she would leave her homeland in an unknown future. How could she leave her son, her mother? No, that was impossible. Wahid's family is unlikely to accept an older foreign bride. Your own bread is better than someone else's pie, she thought. So Evelyn decided to give Wahid all her untapped tenderness and love. Whatever happens next, let there be a flood. How much happiness do I have left? Crumbs. I will love this young man so passionately that he can barely catch his breath. I'll drink every minute. Evelyn confessed to her mother. Her mother strongly disapproved of the foreigner. Evelina, why do you need this unfaithful? Are our vadims not enough for you? I will never give my mother's blessing to this union. Your ex-husband still misses you. Don't you see this? You must forgive him. You have a common son, her mother lamented. Mom, Dimash cheated on me. You forgot? Evelyn deflected. Oh Lord, he repented 100 times, and you are also to blame. You completely neglected your husband with your dissertations. And when a man is unattended, any woman will hunt him. He is not picky, the mother insisted. Why didn't you forgive Dad then? He also repented, Evelyn objected. Honey, it's not the same at all. First of all, your father left before you were born. Secondly, he had 3 children with another woman. And then he came back to look at you. What do I need from a man with 3 tails? Could I really take the father away from 3 children? No. But your Dimash has been unclaimed for 10 years now, waiting for your call. And John loves him very much, the mother concluded her objection. Oh, Mom, I don't plan to marry Wahid. I'm too old for him. I'll wait until he leaves me first. I can't do this on my own. We'll see later, thought Evelina. Oh, daughter, remember, even an old mare wants salt. The mother sighed. 3 years later, Wahid said goodbye to Evelyn. I will keep in touch with you, my dear, was all he said. Evelyn was preparing for such a finale, but giving Wahid to young Khadija was incomprehensibly painful. As a parting gift, Wahid gave Evelyn the very carved box that started it all. Inside was a wonderful ring in the shape of 2 angels holding a diamond heart in their hands. I leave my heart to you, Evelyn, Wahid whispered, pressing his lips to hers for the last time. He flew back to Algeria. A year later, Wahid sent Evelyn a wedding photo with the caption, My wife Khadija, and the next year, another wedding photo arrived. My second wife is Mariam. Wahid explained to Evelyn that polygamy was legal in Algeria. Looking at this news from Wahid's life, Evelyn did not feel jealous. What did these young brides know about the sweet, mature love they shared? Part of her found comfort in noticing the melancholy expression on Wahid's face. This meant that he might still be pining for her. The collection of stories is closed. The chapter is over. Meanwhile, Evelina's son also got married and brought his bride home. When the young couple had a daughter, Evelyn asked that she too be named Evelyn, to forever preserve the memory of her colorful love story. Over time, Evelyn reconciled with her ex-husband, more out of compassion than forgiveness. Past misdeeds were acknowledged and forgiven. Dimash, her ex-husband, argued his position through his mother Evelyn, who managed to convince her daughter to give Dimash another chance. He has come to terms with his wrongdoing. And isn't everyone prone to making mistakes? Sin doesn't just wander through the forest, it walks among people. Not everyone has the strength to resist temptation. Evelyn and Dimash are together again, striving to remain inseparable. And Evelina signed up for a knitting course and now knits socks decorated with Arabic patterns for her granddaughter, little Evelina. Mother Evelyn added, Life is not all about reflecting on past mistakes. It's also about caring for the good that remains and cultivating it. After a while, Evelyn began to see the wisdom in her mother's words. She noticed how Dimash had really changed. He was no longer the man who had wronged her, but the one who showed genuine remorse and a desire to restore what they had lost. Evelyn and Dimash made a conscious effort to rekindle the spark in their relationship by spending more time together and creating new memories. They went for evening walks, talked for a long time about their dreams and hopes, and most importantly, they learned to trust and forgive. Wahid, or as Evelyn secretly thought of him, her sweet head of love, remained in bitter memories. Yet he returned to his life and culture, and she respected those boundaries. The love may have been deep, but now it lived on in peaceful memories. Evelyn maintained a comfortable daily routine with her family, and life continued seemingly normally. And yet there were moments when her heart returned to the melodies of the past, to the mysterious and passionate Wahid. whose memory lingered like a captivating aroma that once unexpectedly captivated her heart. One day, while going through her old things, trying to cleanse her life of the relics of the past, she came across a letter hidden under the folds of the carved box that Wahid had given her. It was Wahid's handwriting, but it was not the same note she had torn up all those years ago. Curious, Evelyn unfolded the letter with trembling hands. Dear Evelina, if this letter finds you, know that my heart has never left your shores. My return to Algeria was a duty, not a choice, and although I am bound by tradition, my spirit soars with you. I leave you not just a ring, but a promise. Seek me when the jasmine blooms 3 times, for then my obligations end, and my path becomes my own. Forever in my heart, Wahid. Evelyn's breath caught. There are a few weeks left until the 3rd jasmine bloom. Could this be true? Could Wahid return to her? And what would that mean for her life, now restored? Her mind raced between possibilities that were both exciting and terrifying. Meanwhile, Dimash, her reconciled husband, became increasingly involved in local politics, seeking a seat on the city council. His dedication to his community, what drew Evelyn to him in her youth, now flourished as he passionately advocated for environmental protection and social justice. She admired his determination, his newfound sense of purpose, and it brought them closer together in a shared vision of the future. However, part of Evelyn felt guilty for hiding her secret melodrama of lost love. As the long-awaited jasmine season approached, Evelyn was on edge, each white flower whispering questions she didn't dare voice. On a particularly flowery evening, her phone suddenly rang. It was a letter from an Algerian art gallery inviting her to an exhibition of Eastern and Western fusion art, sponsored by Mr. Wahid, who specifically requested her presence. Evelyn found herself in a difficult situation. Visiting the exhibition would mean coming face to face with the burning embers of her past, but ignoring it could mean living with regret. After confiding in her closest friend, she decided to go, with the support of her friend, to find a way out, at least more. On the night the gallery opened, Evelyn walked through the doors with a mixture of anticipation and fear. There, among the bright colors and bold strokes of the art, she saw him. Wahid was unmistakable, still as handsome as she remembered. He looked up, and their eyes met, as if no time had passed, but during these missing years, entire lives had been lived. Their reunion was bittersweet. Wahid was no longer bound by his past responsibilities and admitted that he never stopped loving her. However, Evelyn was torn. Her life with Dimash, although not ideal, had taken root too deep to be easily untangled. She confided in Wahid her turmoil, and they agreed to meet again before any decisions were made. During their conversation, Dimash called, his voice full of excitement about the successful rally. Evelyn felt a surge of pride for him, and at that moment, she realized where her heart truly lay. Telling Wahid the truth was the hardest thing Evelyn had ever done. But when they parted, there was a sense of peace between them. He found the courage to follow his own path, and she found the strength to respect hers. Dimash and Evelyn continued their journey together, their relationship enriched by individual activities, and Evelyn found solace in the complexity of her affections. Through Dimash's political career and her new philanthropic work, inspired by Wahid's masterful influence, they worked side by side, leaving behind a legacy of passion and dedication. Their love was no longer just a flame between two people. He became a beacon of hope and progress, a symbol that true love lacks